back on Gertrude, back again, Friday move. Well, let's have a look at this because we were talking about this yesterday. Oh, I didn't do anything yesterday, must have been the day before. Douglas Murray clash with Nigel Farage. I like Douglas Murray, he's got a very keen intellect. Clashing with the sniping chief and Matt Goodwin, no point in reforming that. Exactly, because you walked that walk. Well, you didn't, you talked the talk, didn't you? Niggle. Did you do that when you were at school? Because it was quite a popular name, wasn't it, in like the 60s and 70s. So yeah, that you used to call them Niggle rather than Nigel, didn't you? Because they were niggly and just annoying. So here we've got another Niggle, a Niggle garage. So let's see what the five-faced snipe is going to say to wangle and weave his way out of the bleeding whatever it is he's got him snout in the trough and his feet under the table and all the bonuses, 200,000 a year. Oh, and let's not forget, we're running up towards April, so they will be sitting. They usually do it late at night when they think no one's looking. And they will sit in the House of Parliament and vote. Yeah, like turkeys for Christmas, except these turkeys, they vote how much they're going to... How much should we raise our salaries by? Oh, I think it should easily be another 20,000 or maybe 30. And how much should we vote for our expenses? Oh, I think we should have another 50,000 each of us individually every year. Yes, should we vote? Hands in the air. Oh, yes. Oh, should we all vote that we have all this free stuff? We don't pay council tax. We don't pay TV licence on our second home. The taxpayer pays for our second home. That is usually a hooky home that we've got our mum living in. We get the taxpayer to pay her mortgage, basically. That's what we do because we're right little bleeding grifters. Load of us. But everybody, including me, has had to sit here all winter freezing because I couldn't afford to put the heating on with one bar. One bar I've had. Bloody creatures. And I'm nowhere near pension age, but I can imagine people that are, because I've noticed how cold I get going from my 50s into my 60s. I was always far too hot, and now I'm always bloody cold the whole time. I would have loved to have had the heating on. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get myself up the House of Parliament next year. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get myself round there. I'm going to say, no, you got all the heating in here. I'm going to come where the heating is. Yes, I am. Yeah, and just sit down and refuse to move. Yes. So let's see what the grifter here has got to say. Come on, Niggle.
Of mass deportations or anything like
deport
that.
you bloody wrong.
I mean, let's say there's a mid-sized jet that could have 250 people on it. Could you have 10 flights a day from Heathrow to places around?
You have as many as it takes. As people fought in the Second World War to keep this country sovereign. Okay, I don't want to hear all this. Oh, it's Ezra in it. Sorry, Ezra, I'm not going to preach to the converted. But as many as it takes, as often as it takes, get a ship, get a battleship, get a ferry, get whatever you need to get to remove illegal criminals, which is what they're doing. They're breaking the law. They're indulging in criminality, coming up onto our beaches, literally, and doing the most unspeakable things to everybody. And we're being outnumbered, really, aren't we? We're being outborn and outbred and outnumbered. We're being colonised. We should not now start feeling. All this white, we got to have white guilt and everything. I wasn't alive when any of that happened. But I am given to sort of draw some analogy between, say, the indigenous Indian tribes of Canada, or say the indigenous Aborigines, because Aborigine is another word for indigenous anyway. So every Aboriginal country that we've gone into and colonised, not we, but our great ancestors, like hundreds of years ago, that we're reaping the ire now. What have we ever done? And we've come a long way. I wasn't from the Windrush generation. I was brought up in a progressively mixed school with also. Well, I went to a convent where there was all sorts of nationalities, from French to Nigerian to Ugandan to Ghanaian to Irish to Scottish to everything. So why are we taking all these people in, and why has everybody put all the bleeding eggs in one basket called Nigel Farage, and now he's turned out to be a right little snipe?
World? Sure you could.
Any delusion that the growing Reform UK civil war caused by the brutal axing of Rupert Lowe,
oh, it's terrible,
including a wholly unnecessary police report, would
disgusting,
soon fade, well, that's now gone.
Right, thank you.
The right is divided, not just on the issue of the conduct of Nigel Farage, but on whether mass deportations.
Yeah, well, don't change the issue, because what happened and transpired, actually, is there's another one. What's his name? Another one, Reform bloke that's just left. He's gone independent. Can't think of his name. Anyway, he received a text message or email from Richard Spice. I told you he was a snide, right? And said, oh, you're going to lose your job. Oh, was it Rupert Lowe? Or was it his pal? Oh, it's the other one, wasn't it? I think he got the sack. Anyway, I can't think what his name is. So I expect you'll tell me in the comments, won't you? But anyway, he got the sack. And he was told by email or like, very professionally, by text message. And he was said, if you mention Tommy Robinson, we're going to sack you. So Reform is the party of free speech. And what they are, and let's have it right, because I'm going to stand on my little platform every day if I have to, and point out what a bunch of muggy, snobby, boring old farts, self-bloody aggrandising. All they're there for is what they can get and how they look. At the end of the day, Robinson is a human being. He's got blood, he's in his veins, he's got feelings, he's got children that love him. He's a human being. How come you've demonised him and you've you've unhumanised him, haven't you? He is the muggy, snobby, middle and upper class, media and political class's Bobo doll. It's kind of fashionable. You have to, even the newsreaders come out and go, well, actually, I don't hold anything for Tommy Robinson myself, but I'll just flick off. Once they say that, you're gone. Bye. Go away. Because everybody else, especially women out here that have been affected by SA, DV, those sort of subjects, doesn't matter who by, admire people that stand up and put everything on the line, including watching their children grow up, to speak against all these old farts that don't want to because they're too worried about their bonuses and they're too worried about their salaries and all their greasy little palms, aren't they? Oh yes, oh yes. So I'm over Reform. I don't give one flip about Nigel. I think he's a muggy, snobby, horrible old man that needs to go. If anything, we need a new, young, refreshing person that has got some sort of salient thing. At the end of the day, we can't keep having... We're an island, and if you think of an island like a boat, we're going to sink, aren't we, darlings? Because we've got far too many people here. And we haven't got the infrastructure, we haven't got the services set out to... Well, they've just been so foisted on us so quickly. We've gone up in about 1 million in about 5 years or something. We haven't got that sort of ready to deal with. And then you've got that clown giving everything away to everybody else except our old people and our people that are ill and sick and disabled and can't help being in that situation. And then, like I've said to you before, they said, oh, well, we've got 70 million people in this country and 1 million of them are disabled and claiming disability benefits. And actually, when you think of it, 1 million disabled people in a population of plus 70 million is kind of representative. I think someone stood up in Parliament and said it's like 0.3% of disability claims are erroneous. Whereas when you actually compare and contrast that with white-collar tax evasion, let's go there, and also extortion via the bonuses system, like... What have we had with Angela Rayner? What have we had? Didn't she have a council house that she got the taxpayers to pay for and pretended it was her second home, so that actually we paid for a second home? I think we've had ones in the Cameron government that were claiming for a second home and it was actually their mum's house. So again, the government, funded by the taxpayer, was paying for this MP's mum. And there's been loads of that, and there probably is still more. And they're just about to start in April, end of March, they start voting on their wage rise, their salary rise, their bonus rise. They get that. They will all get that. They get heating allowance. They don't have to pay council tax. Mine came through, it's like over £2,000 I have to pay council tax. Can you even believe it? For what? For what? They get it for nothing. TV licence, nothing, in both their homes. They get heating and everything allowed for both their homes, even though they can't possibly be in 2 homes at the same time. But they claim for both. Yeah? Oh, yes. It's a big club. Well, it isn't. It's a rather small and exclusive club, and none of us are in it. And it's about time we started standing up for ourselves and saying, no more. You're taking the piss. Okay? We've seen the state of some of our towns that were lovely little towns when I was younger, even 5-10 years ago. Well, actually, a bit more, probably 15-20. Yeah? I can remember in my rave days, we would go from somewhere like, say, Brighton, and we'd find ourselves up in, say, Shropshire. Somewhere like that, that none of us had ever been. It was like going to another bloody country. It was like, everywhere you went, it was like, bloody hell, it was different. Yeah, nowadays, everything's the same. Everywhere you go, it's a shithole. and the same sort of fast food chains that have taken over the high street. You got the nail salons, all the Turkish money laundering barbers, the charity shops are the only people that can afford to go into the high street. Now, it's either that or go to a retail park, isn't it? B&M's or buy online at Temu, something like that, isn't it? Yeah, horrible. And it's all been brought down. And of course, he was a snake oil salesman, Nigel. He was always selling. Anyone could see, look at his background. You know, he's not a man of the people. He's just a very muggy, snobby little bleeding stockbroker, banker, weirdo. And I said banker with a B.
Possible and necessary. With Douglas Murray today directly contradicting academic Matt Goodwin's position on this hot button issue. So I'll get to that very shortly.
Oh, was it Matt Goodwin?
But before that, I think the great Yarmouth MP, a standout citizen with a clean record and a £35 million fortune who donates every penny he earns
Rupert Lowe,
being a member of Parliament to charity causes. Well,
yeah,
I think he was the wrong bloke to try and destroy using the cancel culture methods of the left.
Yeah. I mean, you know, to start with, I didn't like Richard Spicer, and I definitely detest him now. How dare you go around the place telling people what they can and can't say when you're supposed to be representing the people? Shut your mouth, get on with your job. Bloody annoying little creature. And take angry Mr. Toad with you.
This hour, Rupert Lowe's plotting to sue Nigel Farage.
Sue him. Sue the bastard.
He has made one last-ditch bid to get Reform's Messiah to see sense.
He's not a Messiah.
This letter, an emotional...
He's self-aggrandising, grandstanding, self-being all out for himself person, isn't he? Pompous, sanctimonious, hypocritical, old fart, really. And he needs to go. He's had his day, bye-bye. We've only got to remember the way he always used to throw his toys out the pram in years gone by when he didn't get a seat. Oh, we've had over a million votes and didn't get a seat. Well, just live with it. It's a parliamentary system. And then he's groomed the whole of the country to believe in him. I always knew. I didn't vote for him. I think he's a horrible creature. And a snob. And I cannot abide people like that. Because, if you think of it, what is about... I'd probably say about 10 or 20%, 10 or 20% of the country live in his salary bracket. The vast majority, the overwhelming vast majority of the country don't live in his salary bracket. So what is he bringing to the table when it comes to the fact that he needs the people, the vast majority of the electorate, that don't live in his salary bracket, to put him in a job, so he can have even more money? No, I mean, make it make bloody sense, because I can't make it make sense. To me, it sounds like a bloody a pyramid scheme of some sort. That's what it sounds like. And I'm sick to death of them. I can't stand Richard Spice. Can't stand Nigel Flange. I wish he'd pee off.
Letter to Nigel has been posted on X, and in part he writes, Nigel, my latest invitation for dinner with you did not receive.
Listen, Rupert. You never interrupt your enemy when they're making a bloody a mistake. Do you know what I mean? They are both making the biggest mistake of their lives. I mean, like they hadn't already, Spice made so many mistakes, and Farage, like they haven't already done that. As soon as they could smell the money, come last May going into the June election, they could smell success, and that was when their mask slipped, didn't it? The mask slipped, and then we got to see the real people that they were. And all the time they go, I'm not going to talk about Tommy Robinson. You're not going to talk about somebody that's in there for more or less civil. Actually, like a civil sort of conviction, and he's in solitary in a high security, maximum security prison. Belmarsh is in, and we're not going to talk about that. No, and then when you get your feet under the table, no, we're not going to talk about deportations, mass or even limited. No, we're not going to talk about them because, like he said, we can't deport these people. Sorry. I think you should resign because that's not what you were saying when you got half the country to vote for you. Thank you and goodbye.
But I'm going to make one last effort. Our members deserve that. Without them, neither of us would be in Parliament. Their hard work, their efforts, their determination, that's what put us there.
It shows you that you got Rupert Lowe in Parliament, and it shows you what sort of a team player Flange is. Instead of making the most of the people around him and their strengths, and building them up and consolidating your hold. When you consolidate your team, and then in a way you can bring other people into the team, ultimately to grow it, make it more strong and more powerful. Oh no, he's like the little girl guy. Oh, I don't like it because she's got prettier ribbons in her hair than me. People are going to think she's more popular than me. Oh, I've got to be a bitch to her and get rid of her. She's not allowed to play in our little group. That's what he's doing. I can't stand the man, sorry. He's an immature little smuggy... Oh, I've said all the words before.
Me, not you. Your real motive was to remove me because I dared to ask questions. I am trying one last time. But before that can happen, you must stop your malicious witch hunt. You personally have told outright lies about me on national television. I have undeniable evidence to prove this. I urge you to retract and apologise for those remarks today.
No, just sue him,
I will not
Rupert.
tolerate falsehoods, and my legal team are working on it. The British public do
They're
not
bullies,
appreciate...
they're bullies, and I've just been through men like him. In fact, a lot of the people that have been bullying the crap out of me for the past year and terrorising me to the point that if I hadn't have had a child, I would have... Because I'm still grieving for my husband. If I hadn't have had a child, I wouldn't be here now. I would have just ended it. And a lot of the people actually are avid, rabid Nigel Farage. Oh, Nigel, can we smell your farts? Will you just fart in a bucket for us? Oh, in a bottle, and then we can just, like, smell it at home, dab it behind our ears, because we love you, Nigel. We really do love you. He's a cretin. He's a cretin like a lot of his dumbass followers. Right, go.
I'll play. Egos must be parked to resolve this. I am trying to do that by reaching out again, but first you must stop
You're not going to get anywhere because he's a
assault
creep.
on my character and reputation. It all must hold. I hope to hear from you. If I don't, I'd like to put on record my thanks for what you did to deliver Brexit. Sadly, that legacy is being sullied by your...
Yeah, all right, Rupert. I can see you being a bit conciliatory there because I can't remember that he did deliver Brexit. Can you? Anyway, move
appalling
on.
behaviour over the last week. I once considered you a friend. I no longer do, but there remains a better way to
The
resolve...
only friend that Nigel and the only loyalty Nigel ever has had is to him. Yeah, they say he's charismatic because he plays this man of the people. Look at me down the pub, I've got fag. I'm in there with the hoi polloi in London. I'm having a bleeding pint of Guinness and I'm having a fag on or a cigar or whatever it is he does. Yeah, trying to come across like a man of the people when he's so far from a man of the people. He's not even a people, let alone a man.
Of this, Rupert. So the crux of this row now is over two issues.
God, Dan, you tell him.
Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage's refusal to countenance mass deportations, despite it being one of Trump's most popular MAGA policies. And
no, it doesn't matter about the MAGA. It doesn't matter about the MAGA. He sold his soul, didn't he? On the gravy train of getting into Parliament, saying, "Oh, we're going to make sure that we deport all the criminals that are coming in because you've got half of Hamas coming up the shores." And when you think of all the outrages, and some of them, I'd say there's a percentage of them we never get to hear about. Do you get me? So
Farage's position on this is very clear because of this interview with Stephen Edgington.
It's a political impossibility.
Oh, I like Stephen.
Hundreds of-
I like Stephen. Did you see him with Christopher? Not Christopher. The other one. I can't think of the annoying little man anyway.
Thousands of
Peter
people. We
Hitchens.
simply can't do it. At the moment, it's a political impossibility.
But is it your ambition?
Oh, he's amazing. I love that guy.
I'm not going to get dragged down the route of mass deportations or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, people are always going to come and go, and
Where are we going to put them, Nige? Where are we going to put them? And why aren't you speaking up for the pensioners? Why aren't you doing more for the people that actually voted you in, you bleeding grifter?
they're a country that's engaged in international trade, and we have relationships around the world through the Commonwealth, etc.
Oh, so we're all going to move to the Commonwealth now, are
But
we?
yeah, we have
Is that
to
what you're
aim
saying?
at a balanced migration policy.
But net zero still means hundreds of thousands of people coming into Britain, immigrants coming into Britain. Isn't that too many?
What does net zero have to do with immigrants coming into Britain? And didn't I read something about Gates is going to blank out the sun or some ridiculous load of old nonsense? These are the things we want tackled for our children and our children's future and our grandchildren and their children's future. This cretin isn't the Messiah. He's just a muggy snob, and he shouldn't be where he is. And that, dear viewer, is all I've got to say about that man. My blood pressure's gone through the roof, so bye-bye.